Under a monsoon-soaked mountain in northern Thailand, in the deep down dark, a majestic death trap. After 9 days of desperate searching, the missing members of this boys' soccer team and their coach are found, miraculously alive. From the shadows of the cave, this indelible image, a ray of hope, beamed around the globe.
What's your hand? Thank you. How many of you? 13. Brilliant. Many people are coming. Many people. We are the first.
Absolute elation, followed very quickly with, oh, wait a second, now we got to get these kids out.
I am really happy.
We are happy too.
So where you come from?
England, UK.
The divers who find the boys, John Valanthan and Rick Stanton, and fellow divers Jason Mallinson and Chris Jewell, belong to an elite British cave diving team with unique rescue skills. In Thailand, these volunteers, working without pay, come to be known as the awesome Foursome.
I never had to think for a second about whether I would go. I think it's human nature to know if you've got an ability, and of course you will.
The boys get food, MREs, and company. Thai Navy SEALs and a military doctor join them in the cave for their duration.
When they got their energy back, the kids cheerfully talked a lot about where they would go, what they would eat, their plans after they got out of the cave.
A U.S. Air Force search and rescue team, headed up by Major Charles Hodges and Master Sergeant Derek Anderson, joins the effort.
We came in bringing our military expertise when it comes to operational command and control, when it comes to kind of really looking at a problem set and finding what is the risk, what risk are we willing to accept.
Every trip into the cave is filled with peril, a fact highlighted by the death of one of the volunteers.
A rescue diver has died.
The man who died was young, he was fit, he was a former Navy SEAL.
Former Thai Navy SEAL 38-year-old Saman Gunan posts on social media about coming out of retirement to help. On one of his dives, something went terribly wrong. He is found unconscious and later dies.
Sergeant Sam's mouthpiece fell off. He was trying to grab it, but he couldn't find it. He was trying to take out the spare one, but due to the complexity of the cave, there was no air to breathe.
He very sad. The whole world collapsed.
Felt like the whole world was collapsing.
Yes.
How did that affect morale at the camp?
Obviously, it made it a little more somber, made it a little more serious. For the SEALs, it caused them to redouble their efforts. Everybody really got down to business after that.
What stands between the boys and the daylight they haven't seen in 2 weeks is about 1.5 miles underground obstacle course of rocky chambers, half-flooded canals, and fully submerged sections. The longest of those is 350 meters, the length of 7 Olympic swimming pools. And it's filled with water so muddy, it's like swimming in coffee.
You physically could not see your hand in front of your face, no matter how close you put it to your face.
The American advisors say the divers tell them bringing all the kids out of the flooded cave alive will be an impossible mission.
They're telling us this is the absolute worst conditions that you can have for a rescue, and it was pushing the envelope for what they were comfortable with.
They said this is incredibly difficult for us to do, much less a child that's never dove.
We always knew we could get them out, it's whether we could get them out alive or not.
The Thais search for alternatives, drilling down through the limestone mountain or draining the cave, or simply waiting for the end of monsoon season, but that is 3 or 4 months away. The Thais are calling the shots, but the Americans warn them time is not on their side.
We knew at that point that rains were coming. The plan that we have in place is going to become unfeasible once these certain chambers and areas of the cave get re-flooded.
As if the threat of more rain isn't enough, monitors in the cave detect an alarming drop in air quality.
The other factor that helped us decide whether to proceed with the rescue or not was the decreasing amount of oxygen in the cave where the boys and the assistant coach were located.
We knew that there wasn't a zero risk option, but we knew that the option of leaving the kids there for 4 to 5 months was a bad option.
They begin preparations for Mission Impossible, beginning with a key piece of equipment, which the Americans supplied.
It was a positive pressure full face mask that is a piece of equipment designed to go over your entire face
to ensure that the boys would be able to breathe, and the full face mask would also ensure that water couldn't get into the mask.
An Air Force officer shoots this cell phone video of the divers testing the plan in a local pool.
Put them in the full equipment that we were going to use, drag them around with a full face mask in for sort of 10, 20 minutes underwater so everybody could see what we were going to do.
It wasn't a very accurate depiction of what the rescue divers would actually be doing, but as a proof of concept, it worked.
The strategic placement of air tanks throughout the cave is so critical they run a drill, using water bottles as props for scuba tanks.
Laid everything out in a big field, and we had staging points set up in the field, and we had them walk through to make sure that what we had planned on paper would actually work in real life.
A single tank out of place could mean the difference between life and death.
Because the last thing that we wanted was for one of the divers to show up at a staging point and think that there would be a replacement tank there and there was nothing. Or even worse, there's a tank there that was empty.
Now, all that remains is to deliver the simple, chilling message to the Thai government that diving out is the only option.
We either have a shot where we could get some of them out, or we leave them in there and there's a very, very high chance that none of them survive. I said, man, this is our best shot.
We said, we've got a plan, it's a good plan, we think it might work, there's a chance some of the kids might die.
So, numbers-wise, what was the probability of success?
So when I was asked that question by the governor, what I told him is, I think we can probably realistically save 60 to 70% of the kids. I expect anywhere from 3 to 5 to die in this operation.
That is the heart-wrenching decision confronting Thai officials. To save any of the boys, they'll have to risk losing some of them.
He said, okay, that's the best plan that we've heard so far. Go ahead and start planning as if you're going to effect this rescue.